stop it. July 1, 2020. That was a hell of a half of a year, wasn't it? Good morning to you. Listen, if you got through the first half of 2020, you can do anything. You know, the old line, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Well, it has killed a lot of people. It has made us a lot stronger. Let me begin with some great news. Two, actually. The United States Supreme Court yesterday firmly established the free exercise clause as equal to any other right that Americans enjoy, the right to believe and worship and act on those beliefs, and the refusal of the court to accommodate religious bigotry in Montana's Constitution and the other 37 states with mini Blaine amendments, they're called, that call on no aid to religious schools in any way, shape, or form have all been gone. They're all knocked down now. Chief Justice Roberts, remember, you were mad at him last week. I told you just wait until this week. Chief Justice Roberts writing for the five conservatives, and there are five conservatives on the court who understand that every right in the Bill of Rights is equal weighted, and the right to free exercise of religion is equal to every other right. It is now dispositive that if Donald Trump had not won the presidency, your religious freedom would be abridged by a court that featured not one, at least one, and perhaps two left-wingers who would have joined with the four liberals yesterday to restrict religious belief. The case is Montana versus Espinoza. I'll tell you about it in the bottom of the hour. But a huge win for religious liberty, and there are still two more big cases to come. In my view, the two biggest ones, Our Lady of Guadalupe and Little Sisters of the Poor. But the Montana case is a huge win. And some of the excerpts that I will read you, you've just got to be here at the bottom of the hour. The second bit of great news yesterday, I find it almost impossible to believe. And this is almost a market update. So I'll say thank you, Birch Gold, for bringing us this news. Birch Gold does the business story of the day. They sponsor the business story every morning. And so you go to hughgold.com, or you text my name, Hugh, to 474747 if you want to buy gold or diversify. Definitely diversify. I was telling you to diversify back in December and November before the virus was even in anyone's scope, except, of course, the Chinese Communist Party. I was telling you to diversify because the stock market had gotten so high. I expected a blow-off of profit-taking. Well, you should be diversified right now, and you can do that at hughgold.com with Birch Gold because, headline, Wall Street Journal, U.S. stocks finish best quarter in more than 20 years. I repeat, U.S. stocks finish best quarter in more than 20 years. So I ask you, did you see that coming in March when you'd lost 20% of your value? If you panicked and left the market at that point, you're in trouble. If you had done what I suggest, never sell in a panic, but always have some gold. Gold today is at $1,804. Now, how do you figure the stock market being back up at its record highs and gold being at 1804? That's because the market expects inflation, as I do, as I think Brian Westbury of First Trust does. We'll have to get Brian back on soon to talk about this. But it just seems to me that when you have stocks, the Michael Wursthorn piece reads, U.S. stocks wrapped up their best quarter in more than 20 years, a remarkable rally after the coronavirus pandemic brought business around the world to a virtual standstill. Just 3 months ago, investors were lamenting the end of the bull market and the longest economic expansion on record after major U.S. stock indexes lost about 35% of their value in less than 6 weeks. The subsequent rebound has been nearly as brisk, partly thanks to an unprecedented $1.6 trillion stimulus package from the Federal Reserve and Congress and a surge in trading among individual investors. The rally has listed everything from beaten-down energy stocks to apparel retailers to big technology firms. Quote, massive stimulus by the Fed on the fiscal side has propelled the stock market's recovery at a speed unlike we've ever seen, said Liz Ann Saunders, chief investment strategist at Charles Schwab and Company. I must tell you, I am not an advisor, a financial advisor. I don't do stock picking. The only stock I own is Amazon. You know my theory. If it's not your business, you're going to get beat by people whose business it is. So pick one stock if you like to play the stock market, if you like to invest, but otherwise go with stock market indexes or make sure that it's all mutual funds like me so that you don't end up trying to pick against pros. It'd be like you're sitting down here and trying to do a radio show. Or, well, I mean, you could produce the way Dwayne produces, but if you sat down here and tried to do a radio show once every 5 years, you would sound horrible, as opposed to the way I do a radio show, which is like it's muscle memory. I've been doing this for 30 years. Yesterday, Amazon went up $78, which is 3%. All right, so it closed at $2,758. It was down at $1,400 or something like that in March. $1,500. I don't buy and sell. I've gotten out of Amazon one time and gotten back into it. Otherwise, I held Apple for years. I just pick one and I hold it. I also believe in gold, and that's why you should be going to Birch Gold, HughGold.com, or texting my name, Hugh, to 474747. Not a lot, 10 to 20%, not a lot. I buy it as well for grandkids. I buy it for people for long-term investments. Do not get caught undiversified. Now, on that great news of religious freedom's epic win and the stock market finish, there comes in this rundown some not great news. Oh, by the way, in Germany, they have a huge pent-up spending. I mean, enormous amount of retail spending in May by the Germans. And that made the Financial Times this morning, so I want to tell you about that. Here's the bad news. Tony Fauci tells us we're going to get to 100,000 cases a day. Now, I actually think, well, let's listen to it. Cut number 14, Anthony Fauci in the Senate yesterday.
Yeah, there's too many uniformed police in New York City.
No, cut number 14.
I can't make an accurate prediction, but it is going to be very disturbing. I will guarantee you that, because when you have an outbreak in one part of the country, even though in other parts of the country they're doing well, they are vulnerable. I made that point very clearly last week at a press conference. We can't just focus on those areas that are having the surge. It puts the entire country at risk. We are now having 40+ thousand new cases a day. I would not be surprised if we go up to 100,000 a day if this does not turn around. And so I am very concerned.
Now, there is an editorial today in the Washington Post that suggests that this is all because of Donald Trump. That's its suggestion. I actually believe this is because of the demonstration. And we'll talk about it, 1-800-520-1234. I believe this surge in cases because of the demonstrations. I am also optimistic about the therapies that have developed and our fatalities remaining below 750 a day, maybe as low as 500 a day after another week or so of recovering from the demonstrations. They want to blame Trump. It was, in fact, and I don't blame the demonstrators for demonstrating. The murder of George Floyd was outrageous, and it precipitated events that could not be shut down. But let's not pretend that it wasn't because of the demonstration. That's what it was. It was the demonstration. Now the bad news. The Hong Kong crackdown has begun by the Chinese Communist Party. They have begun, Hong Kong police have made their first arrest, according to the Financial Times, under a sweeping new national security law imposed by the Asian financial hub by Beijing, a day after he signed the legislation. Xi Jinping signing legislation, what a joke. What a show. Meanwhile, Singapore has joined the rest of the world in throwing Huawei out. Their 5G network is going to Ericsson and Nokia. Good for them. Good for them. But the people of Hong Kong are lost to the free world. And I think you need to know that. We need to be ready in this election to make sure that we vote accordingly. Joe Biden is an appeaser. He appeased Iran. He appeased China. He would appease China again. Donald Trump and his team are anti-Chinese Communist Party bullying. They will stand up to them. They have stood up to them. We need to reelect Donald Trump, not just for religious freedom, not just for the economy, but because of China. When we get back, the dumbest move by a school board I have ever seen occurred last night. In fact, less than 6 hours ago by my watch, the Los Angeles Unified School District voted to cut school police budget by $25 million because they are in the thrall of a hard left ideology that threatens to take over the United States if we do not reelect Donald Trump and Republicans everywhere. I'll tell you about it after the break on this morning's edition of The Hugh Hewitt Show. Good July 1 to you.